It is 4 p.m. We're bringing developing news and the stories behind the headlines. I'm Ed Lingao. Big-time oil price hikes are looming next week as the conflict in the Middle East involving the U.S., Israel, and Iran rages on. Conservative forecasts show that gasoline prices could rise by about 7 pesos and 9 centavos per liter. Diesel, on the other hand, could jump by as much as 15 pesos and 33 centavos per liter. Earlier, the DOE clarified that diesel, not gasoline, could reach nearly 80 pesos per liter by next week. Meantime, during a Senate hearing today, Senator Erwin Tulfo asked if the government would implement fuel rationing. The Energy Department says that it is possible.
So, ibig sabihin, sir, pag hindi po tumigil itong bakbakan na ito, maaari talaga at malaking posibilidad within this month, tayo po ay Marso 6 pa lamang po ngayon, within this month, aabot tutungtong po ng 90 pesos per liter ang ating diesel at ang gasolina, may na sa 80 pesos na po.
Oh, well, itong
Kung tuloy-tuloy po ito.
yung Ukraine-Russia, Mr. Chair, umabot tayo ng mga 90 kasi. So, yun, ayoko mag-project, pero ito'y mas masama pa dun eh. Kasi dito, Middle East ang pinag-usapan.
Magra-ration po ba tayo? Napakadami po nating sasakyan dito. Mga kababayan natin, mga nagmumotor. So, we will have to ration. Kinita niyo po ba yung sitwasyon na yan na pipila tayo sa mga gasolinahan at meron na lang mga coupon na ibibigay sa atin na itong ang ration mo for 1 week. Ito ang ganito ration mo for 1 month.
Palagi ho talagang option na po yan. Nakalatag na ho yan sa contingency plan. At before we attempted that before, yung exercise na yan na merong rationing, pero that is really part of the demand side management.
Pag naubos po yung 50 days, yung gera tumuloy-tuloy po, sumobra na 50 days, ano pong option natin? Magra-rasyon na ho ba tayo?
Ngayon ho,
o hindi pa?
Ngayon ho, bumibili pa ho tayo. So, meron hong mga
trying to send more rockets to Iran. And then the president is also trying to have a say on who will be the next leader of Iran. So the projection from the reports that we receive, it will take 4 weeks to 8 weeks. It's not like the previous Israel-Iran war, which only took 12 days. Because of this, we received reports that Iran would like to negotiate, but it was discounted by the Iranian government. And Trump has said yesterday that he's more ready for war this time. So we hope it will end soon, but based on the situation, I think it will be a protracted war. And this is an unconventional war.
The Department of Migrant Workers continues its efforts to bring home Filipinos in 5 conflict-affected countries in the Middle East, especially from Israel, Lebanon, and Iran. DMW Secretary Hans Kakdak assured lawmakers early today that safe border crossing points have been identified and voluntary repatriation is now in full effect.
5 countries na tinitignan ngayon kung saan nagsisimula na po ang repatriation effort. We have identified designated meeting points, exit points, temporary relocation points. Exit points, because the airports are closed, will be by land. So we have identified every land border crossing per 5 countries. And we have prepared the logistical aspects of repatriation. Ang number 1 payo po ng ating Pangulo, ensure, number 1, coordination with the host countries, and number 2, the safety in the repatriation process.
And joining us today from the Philippine Star, Editor-in-Chief, Ami Pamintuan. Hi, Ami.
Hi, Ed. Alam ko, iniintay mo lagi. Happy weekend. Happy weekend, everybody.
Hindi naman ako excited sa weekend. Ko naman, no? Excited ako para sa Monday. Iba yun.
Okay. So next week, malapit na next week.
Well, I'm not really sure I should have said that kasi mukhang malaking problema natin next week. Going by all the the calculations being made by everybody, mukhang we are gonna be hit by a significant oil price increase next week. If this week
Ang
was
figure
malaki,
namin 20 per liter sa diesel.
oh,
Which is
sa
used
diesel.
by jeepneys.
Pero Bok, have you factored in Monday to Friday or Monday to Thursday pa lang?
Monday lang to.
No, I mean, kasi di ba, they calculate the Singapore prices based on the prices from Monday to Friday, the 5-day work week. And that's where that's how they peg the price increases or price
20.
adjustments for next week.
20 sabi ng energy reporter namin.
Oh, okay.
Sa diesel
Okay.
Sa diesel. And ewan ko yung kuryente kung kailan mag-umpisa. Kasi
nako,
aakyat din yun, siyempre.
Magkakalculate pa yan. Depende yan kung ano yung ipepeg nila doon sa prices ng langis. Saka pa lang sila magkakalculate kung magkano yung sa prices ng kuryente. For those not familiar, yun nga we base the DOE at least, bases its calculations on a 5-day span from Monday to Friday Singapore prices. They make their calculations for the next week. And usually it's implemented on a Tuesday. So, yun. I think most of the projections are so far based on Monday to Thursday or possibly Monday to Friday na, which is today, for the entire week, for application on Tuesday nga next week. So, yun sasabi mong 20 pesos possibly for diesel.
Possibly. Diesel.
Yan po yung naging calculation then that's the way they also calculated yung nakaraang Tuesday na magkano yung increase natin ng Tuesday? 190 sa gasolina? 1 peso 90 cent
something like
tabo per liter increase nung Tuesday sa gasolina. That was also based on the previous week's 5-day averaging ng Singapore prices. So ganun po yung ginagawa nila na pagkakalkula. So that's why this early pa lang
Although
meron
just
ng
for
mga estimates.
context nga, para hindi naman mag-panic, nung nag-attack ang Russia ng Ukraine, umakyat nga ng almost 90, no? 90
Yeah.
per liter.
Yeah. Pero
Nakasurvive naman tayo.
Pero Bok, I was looking at the figures from Ukraine, the start of the Ukraine crisis in 2022, yung oil prices. Although tumaas nga na malaki nung first 6 months of 2022 yung presyo ng gasolina at diesel dito sa Pilipinas. Kung tumaas tayo next week ng 20, that's much bigger kaysa sa mga tinaas nung 2022. Kasi nung 2022, ito yung mga tinaas from January to June, 6-month period of 2022. Remember, February kasi umatake yung Russia sa Ukraine. From January to June, 6-month period, tumaas ang gasolina by 23.8 pesos for that 6-month period. Ang diesel tumaas ng 30.30 pesos for that 6-month period. Kung next week tumaas ng 20 na in 1 week, that's not good.
Middle East kasi yan
Oo.
And that's the Strait of Hormuz.
Kasi tama nga, Ami, when you think about it kasi, yung Ukraine war, medyo hindi pa nga diretso epekto sa atin kasi we don't import much fuel from Ukraine or from Russia.
Pero naapektuhan kasi niya yung supply
Oo.
chains.
Oo. Pero itong Strait of Hormuz, may direktong
direct.
epekto sa atin.
Oo.
Dahil all our
Ayan nga.
oil comes from the Persian Gulf.
Yeah. Saka ang problema nga natin, we have, I think, about 3 million Filipinos
Yeah, thereabouts.
in the Middle East.
Mm.
3 million in the Middle East.
Mhm. Officially 2.4
Kaya,
pero maraming ring hindi official na Pilipino rin So papataka ng mga 3. So yun pa, may problema din tayo potentially doon sa remittances kung magkakaroon tayo ng large scale evacuation. But these are of course some of the elements that are in play that we have to consider. So yun, mukhang ang tutok natin for this episode, Ami, will be langis, presyo ng langis, at epekto sa ekonomiya, sa trabaho, sa presyo ng bilihin. We will have some guests later on to talk to us about the possible impact of what could be 20 pesos increase in diesel, which is used for transportation and for transporting goods. Diba? So,
Siya yung sa jeepney
Oo.
Jeepney. Karamihan sa mga mass transport use diesel.
Mm. Well, that's for transporting people and jeepney. Pero for example, trucks to transport goods and other products to the provinces or the countryside or back to Manila, tatamaan din yan. That's why we'll be talking later to some business groups. We're also trying to get some policymakers to see kung meron ng mga desisyon or mas firm na recommendations how to head off or at least to how to alleviate itong posibleng malaking pagtaas ng presyo next week. Again, these are projections, di ba, Ami? These are only projections.
Yes, projections lang yan.
Yeah.
Baka naman biglang magkasundo sila, ano. Hindi, meron naman daw exploratory
Wishful
talks,
thinking, no?
diba?
Mm.
Hindi, meron namang na mag-usap naman tayo. I think there are ongoing efforts. Diba? Hindi naman pwede kahit naman sila, alam nila, hindi pwedeng tuloy-tuloy yan.
Yeah, that's true. And even Iran needs to keep the Strait of Hormuz relatively open because Iran
Yeah.
relies a lot on
Kailangan
imports.
nila yun eh. That's their biggest, main product. They have to sell their oil.
They have to export their oil. They also have to import products.
Yeah.
So, much as they may try to
Gulo-gulo
regulate.
na nga dyan eh. Siyempre, pag naghihirap mga tao, that's a politically combustible environment.
Yan,
Dagdag mo
nakikita
pa
niyo
yan,
yung image ngayon.
nagigera.
That's the Strait of Hormuz. Yan. That's the one there. At its widest point, it's 32 kilometers from the Iranian coast to the coast of the UAE. So, hindi siya ganun kalawak. Tapos, yung shipping lane is only 3 kilometers wide per lane.
Yun. Yung
Yan,
maliit
that's
na
the one.
maliit na yun. Yan.
Oo. May pakurba pa, di ba? Para ka na sa Marilaki. Na hindi ka pwede
Kaya
manurot.
Kaya kailangan peaceful yung lugar na yan.
And all the oil depots are to the west of that strait. The oil depots of ano yan? Of course, you're looking at Iran, Kuwait, Iraq as well, Saudi Arabia,
Yeah, Iraq.
Oman.
Yung pinakamalalaki.
Hindi pala Oman. Ano ba yan? Qatar, UAE. Yun, nandun sila to the west of the strait.
At napakaraming Pilipino dyan. Working in the oil fields.
So that's what we're looking at. So those are the guests we may have later on. Of course, we're trying to get some policymakers para we can ask if, what's the plan? What's the plan? Are they going to suspend the excise taxes that will need a law? And by how much? And ano epekto niyan?
Di ba, pinupush
sa
na nga yun ng Malacanang eh. Hindi natin alam how fast the Congress can work on it kasi meron nga mga concern na ang sa laki ng revenue
The
na
revenue side.
magigibat. Oo, mawawala naman. Although, alam mo naman mga tao ngayon, pag sinabing revenue, saan ba ginagamit taxes namin?
May ganun kagad, siyempre.
May ganong reaction eh.
Pero even Malacanang has not given us any numbers eh. Even the president has not said if he wants a complete suspension of the entire excise tax on oil or reduction
pa naman eh.
or ano. Oh. So may excise tax
May
ka na.
back pa naman doon sa ano.
Oh, magkaiba yun,
Excise tax
di ba?
na alisin.
Meron kang excise tax which is a specific tax, meron kang VAT which is a value
VAT
tax.
pa. Kaya nga.
Magkaiba yun.
Kaya may matitira pa naman doon sa revenue. Kaya
Yeah.
ngayon sinasabi ng mga tao, para mabawasan yung ginagastos ng mga congressman at mga... Kaya sinasabi ko lang yung reaction.
I know.
Kapag
And
ginaan
that's also a valid point of view. Yun. For those who...
Alala kayo sa mga taxes namin, bakit winawaldas niyo? Yan ang common reaction dyan.
Ngayon, for those who have a bit of difficulty imagining kung ano ba epekto ng taxes na yan doon sa sa langis na yan. Malaki bang patong ng gobyerno sa langis pagdating
Malaki,
sa taxes? Malaki. Yun nga eh.
Ang laki-laki niyan.
Magkano yung gasolina ngayon,
6 to 8.
Ami? Magkano ang gasolina?
Sige, halimbawa, sige, sabihin mo, sa bawat 10 piso na lang, para madalian ka lang. Sa bawat 10 piso na binabayad nyo sa gasolina, how much goes to... hindi pwede kasi...
Hindi, It's ano,
12% yung ano
Oo.
yung isa 12%,
VAT
yung
yung
isa
isa eh.
6 to 8%.
Hindi, ganito lang, Bok.
Sige, ikaw na.
Ganito ka simple eh. Paliwanag ng Rino Abad nung isang araw eh. Magkano bang gas ngayon? 59? 60?
Something like that.
Oo.
Hindi, wala pa 60.
59. Sa 59 pesos, 10 piso per liter dyan pupunta sa excise tax. 10 piso. So
May
kung
VAT pa.
59 yan, 49 lang yan kung walang excise tax. Yung VAT, percentage yun kasi of the value eh. So, mahirap mag-calculate. It's
Sige,
12%.
mga 6 to 8, di ba?
Oo, kasi kung 10% yan, tapos 59, di mga halos 6 pesos, 12%. So
Ganon.
may 2 percentage points pa. So mga ganon. Ang tansya ni Rino Abad, nasa 150 million to 200 million yung mawawalang revenues kung isuspend entirely yung excise tax sa
Ang
langis.
excise tax.
Oo, excise tax lang yun.
Oo.
Kung VAT din,
May VAT pa naman.
oo, ang VAT din, mas maliit lang doon ng konti yung
Malaki
mawawala.
pa rin yun pag kinumpit mo na sama-sama.
Combined, o pag kinumbine mo yung dalawa, ang laki yun.
Laki-laki pa rin matitira sa taxes.
Okay. So yun. Teka, Ami, let's bring in Mojo Merimon Reyes who covered this morning's hearing sa Senate Committee on Foreign Relations. Merimon, anong balita dyan?
Ay, may
Bok,
mga-
sa March, Bok, Ami, magandang hapon. Ayon kay Senate Committee on Foreign Relations Chair, Senator Erwin Tulfo, by March 11, inaasahan na may next hearing ang committee patungkol naman ito sa excise tax. Pero kanina, sa naging pagdinig ngayong araw, ibinahagi ni Department of Migrant Workers Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak na itong repatriation efforts na gagawin magsisimula and possibly umabot ito ng a month or two. So far kasi, over 2,000 yung repatriation request na natanggap nila and they're still watching out for more. Pero so far, tuloy-tuloy daw yung kanilang contingency efforts, yung pag-o-offer on-site ng basic necessities, food, water, shelter, transportation needs, psychosocial, medical services, and kung ano pa raw yung mga pangangailangan dito. Ang sinabi rin ng Secretary Kakdak, nagpapasalamat siya sa Emirates kasi yung commercial flights nito, dalawa pala, isa kahapon at isang flight kanina umaga ang dumating at nagdala ng more or less 200 na mga Pilipino, 70 dito ay mga OFW. Natukoy na rin daw nila yung mga safe na land crossing borders, natukoy na rin nila yung temporary relocation sites kung kakailanganin, meeting points, exit points, at dahil nga sarado or limited ang airspace, ito ang land crossing borders for land transportation options. Pero hindi nga lang inisa-isa ni Secretary Kakdak yung lugar, except lang sa bansang Egypt, nabanggit daw kasi dahil it's for security purposes. Dito ang mangyayari, hindi siya first come first serve basis. Titignan nila yung mga lugar na kakailanganin nila, kumbaga yung risk nakakailanganin ng ilikas ang mga Pilipino. Pero they'll also be considering yung mga repatriation requests and i-consolidate naman daw nila ito. So rest assured naman na itong mga Pilipino na mangangailangan ng assistance at yung mga gusto nang makabalik ng Pilipinas, lahat naman daw yun may contact sila sa mga Filipino community sa lahat daw ng bansang apektado in the Middle East. Bukod dyan, ang sinasabi niya is naka-ready na ang mga ahensya sa kanilang mga programa para sa mga Pilipinong babalik dito. So that includes financial education literacy, test the courses, scholarship options sa mga loans, housing, yung ibang mga pangangailangan pa on employment, on entrepreneurship. Naka-ready na ang mga ahensya para daw magbigay ng assistance sa mga ito. Yun nga lang isang na-raise din na napag-usapan nyo, Bok, is tungkol nga doon sa possible na pag-siret ng presyo naman ng mga produktong petrolyo. For diesel, 60 pesos. By next week daw, or 80 to 90 pesos pa nga ang nakikita nating price range. For gasoline naman, 64 to 70 pesos or 80 pesos naman. Kung sakali raw na magtuloy-tuloy nga itong girian. Though, meron na pa naman daw buffer supply or may stockpile pa naman daw na supply ng produktong petrolyo ang bansa that could last for 50 to 60 days according din kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. So, kung sakali raw ang inaantabayanan nila dito, yung implementation ng oil companies at sana raw staggered ang mangyari. Kumbaga, hindi raw isang bagsakan yung magiging pagpatong sa mga presyong petrolyo. Bok, Ami.
Okay.
Di ba sinabi nga ng Department of Energy, i-stagger nga daw? Meron daw silang parang informal commitment yata from the oil companies na hindi nga daw bibiglain.
Ami, ang sabi nga lang din kanina ni Director Rino Abad, aabangan pa rin daw nila yung implementation ng oil companies at sana nga raw lahat talaga mag-cooperate talaga dito. Yun nga lang medyo nagkaroon din ng back and forth talaga doon sa computation pero ang sinasabi kasi dito, for example, sa case ng diesel kung over $38 per barrel daw yung naging increase. Per dollar kasi ang epekto sa presyo natin, sa pump price natin dito is 0.4 centavos to 0.5 centavos. So ibig sabihin doon, 18 pesos ang pwede maging patong. Kaya pwedeng umabot ng 80 pesos, o 90 pesos rather ang diesel. Pero kung magiging staggered, instead of 18, 9 pesos lang daw, kalahati lang daw ang pwedeng ipatong. So that's around 70 to 71 pesos by next week. So pagdating sa gasoline, kung 56 siya bago nung February 27, kung nagkaroon na ng price hike, kung yun ulit yung magiging computation, so that's around 8 pesos, 64 pesos. So kung yun ulit yung magiging patong sa mga susunod na linggo, more or less nasa 70 rin siya, or sinasabi nga dito ni Director Abad, basta sa diesel ang safety net niya muna 80 raw para sure kung sakaling sisirit yung mga presyo.
80 safety? Anong sabihin ng 80 ang safety? 80 ang pinakababaw? 80
Then,
pinakamataas?
para daw muna sure, kasi ang sabi ni Senator Tulfo, so 90 ba? Hanggang 90, pwedeng sumirit yung presyo kada litro. Sabi niya, para daw sure, 80 pesos daw. Baka umabot hanggang 80 pesos ang presyo for diesel. 64 pesos naman, or nearly 70 pesos para naman daw sa gasolina.
That is kung anong qualifier? Kung
Nakadepende to sa increase ng dollars per barrel daw na presyo kapag ka pumasok nga dito itong mga supply ng crudo. Pero yun nga, ang sabi rin ni Director Abal, still they're waiting daw sa implementation ng oil companies. Meron pa naman daw buffer stock. Pero na-raise din kanina kung sakaling hihinto tayo sa Middle East sa pagkuha ng supply, saan pa raw ba pwede? Natanong yan ni Senator Erwin. Ang sabi ni Director Abad, kung sa Asia raw, parang ang nakikita niya, possibly Brunei na lang kasi ang Malaysia, tsaka ang Indonesia, net importers na rin daw to. So kung exporters, baka Brunei. For outside Asia, US, China, Russia, Latin America, Africa. Pero ang tanong din dito ni Director Abad, kung kakayanin daw ba nitong isupply yung millions of barrels na kinakailangan daw ng Pilipinas on a daily basis.
Anong sabi? Kaya naman yung kaya lang malayo.
Oo,
Ayos
kasi
eh.
marami daw ang kumukuha pa. So hindi lang naman daw Pilipinas, even yung host country na yun, yung exporter country, gumagamit din sila ng millions of barrels. Kaya medyo yun yung nakikita ngayon na kung saan pa ba pwedeng kumuha if not from the Middle East.
actually, if I recall correctly, the biggest oil producers are not the Middle East countries. It's actually Russia
Venezuela,
and the
di ba?
US. It's actually Russia and the US in terms of barrels per day in production.
Yung process na, yung
Oo,
mill.
pero yun nga lang kasi, like for example, ang Russia may sanctions. May sanction regime ngayon. So, hindi ka makakabili ng basta-basta.
Di ba kaya lang nasira yung yung infrastructure ng Venezuela kasi lifted yung sanctions nila, di ba? Kaya lang, yun na nga, kailangan medyo konting trabaho dun sa processing nila.
Meron natanong ba yung paboritong tanong ng maraming tao, tsaka I understand, tanong din ni Senator Tito Soto, yung tanong ng marami, na bakit kung magagera ngayong araw, bukas tumataas ang presyo ng langis sa kanto? Bakit ang bilis tumaas ang presyo ng langis sa Pilipinas? Gayong yung langis sa kanto, isang buwan na sigurong na-import yan.
One or two.
O dalawang linggo na na-import yan na mababa pang presyo.
Bok, hindi yan directly natanong, pero yan yung nire-raise din na concern ni na Finance Committee Chair Senator Sherwin Gatchalian na merong profiteering na nangyayari na hindi raw, parang dapat nga supposedly, kung yung supply ngayon, yung supply na binili pa during an old price, dapat nasa ganun pa rin yung price range ng pagbenta nito. Kaya sinasabi ni Senator Sherwin, dapat daw ang DOE, makocompute daw nila yung presyo ng supply ng crudo and yung selling price ito, yung pump price, para raw ma-check kung merong overpricing na nangyayari. Pero then again, yun nga, sa usapin nga ng presyo, ang nasabi rin naman ni Director Abad, titignan pa rin daw nila ngayon at inaantabayanan nila yung implementation ng mga oil companies. Kasi para isa sa mga ina-anticipate din natin yung around 20 pesos na price hike sa presyong crudo sa mga susunod na araw.
Pero hindi yan natanong ng mga senador like ni Senator Gatchalian kay Rino Abad. Kasi we had Rino Abad, dito ka na, no?
Yeah.
When we had Rino Abad?
Wala.
Wala? Kasi we had Rino Abad here.
Ano.
We asked him the same question. Sir, paano yung papaliwanag yun? Bakit una, may 30 plus days na reserva dapat ng Pilipinas at ang mga oil companies locally. Tapos yun nga, yung mga gasolina, yung mga
Bakit bilis-bilis
produktong
tumaas?
yan, nabili yan nung mababa pa ang presyo. Bakit ang bilis ng taas? Sumasabay. Ang sabi niya ganito, I was wondering how the senators felt about the explanation. Ang sabi niya sa atin ganito, nung isang araw, hindi practical na i-measure o i-calculate ng gobyerno kung yung binibenta ngayon langis, magkano ang binili nung panahong in-import yan. Dahil you have 140,000 gas stations daw. You have too much to monitor. So, by their own agreement daw between the government and the oil companies, kung tumaas ang presyo abroad, tataas din ang presyo dito sa Pilipinas. Kung bumaba ang presyo abroad, bababa ang presyo sa Pilipinas. Kumbaga, sumasabay-sabay lang. Yan ang kanyang paliwanag. The other explanation, of course, is that what they actually look at in the Philippines is the replenishment cost. Ibig sabihin, binibenta sa iyo yung gasolina sa presyo kung saan,
Mababa.
magkano
Pagbili, mahal
ang
na.
gagastusin ko para bumili ng kapalit. Not the cost of buying the product, but the cost of replenishing or replacing it.
Para simple lang.
Oo.
Para
Kasi
simple yung computation.
ang sabi ni Nino Abad, hindi kaya ng gobyerno natin yung real-time monitoring na yung ilang bariles dumating, magkano binenta yan? Magkano binili yan? So magkano bibenta? Hindi rin nila kaya yung ganun. So I'm wondering lang kung napag-usapan yan in any way at kung acceptable yan na paliwanag sa mga mga ekonomista sa Senado. Like si Senator Gatchalian and si Senator, wala pala si Recto, no? Si Win Gatchalian.
Bok, actually sa na-monitor natin, hindi natin kasi narinig na natalakay yun. Pero babalikan natin. Pero so far, pagdating sa fuel prices, ito talaga yung nasabi ni Director Abad na iba raw kasi yung situation ngayon, kaya hindi raw malabo or hindi malayo sa kaalaman na maaaring tumaas daw talaga ang presyo ng krudo, ng petrolyo, ng gasolina, o kaya naman ng diesel.
Yeah. Given naman yun, tataas man lang yung presyo eh. Ang tanong ng marami lang, bakit
Gaano kalaki?
Tsaka kailan?
Ang bilis-bilis.
Oo. So, yun ang mga tanong. Anyway, one more question, Bok, from me. Tapos si Ami, kung meron pa iba. Yung excise taxes ng usapan, sabi mo nga, March 11 pag-uusapan pa, next week pa yun. Pero napag-uusapan na ba kung anong proposal ng Malacanang sa Senado o sa Kongreso, kung ano ang gusto ng Malacanang? Complete suspension ba or partial suspension lamang? Magbabawas lang ba ng excise tax o yung buo ay i-suspend?
Bok, dito kasi sa Senado, iba-iba yung sinasabi ng ilang mga senador. For example, kay Senator Gatchalian, ang sinasabi niya 30 billion pesos per month or 300 billion pesos per year ang maaaring mawala sa pondo raw ng bansa kapag ginawa yung pagtanggal ng excise tax. So ang sinasabi niya, itap daw ang contingency fund ng Pangulo kahit around 3 billion pesos para mabigay na rin daw yung fuel subsidies. Pagdating naman dito kay Senator Joel Villanueva, kasi yung ilan sa mga senador nag-file sila ng panukalang batas, yung kay Senator Joel, ito yung ino-authorize ang Pangulo upon the recommendation ng Department of Finance at ng Energy Departments to suspend or reduce excise on gasoline and diesel when average prices reach or exceed $80 per barrel. Kay Senator Bam naman, yung Senate bill niya naman, granting the President authority to suspend excise tax on oil products during national and global emergencies. Sa magkapatid naman na Cayetano, yung bill naman na final nila, ito automatically suspend or reduce the excise taxes on fuel amid spikes in global oil prices triggered by tensions in the Middle East. So once global oil prices hit a specific threshold, so that's around $80 per barrel, magkakaroon ng suspension or reduction, and ito naman ay automatically malilift din daw kapag yung condition ay no longer present. For Senator Erwin Tulfo, may final din siya na bill. So this is the temporary suspension of excise tax and reduction of VAT on oil products. So this will automatically take place or take effect kapag yung presyo ng crude oil ay umabot ng $80 per barrel. So iba-iba yung nagiging suwestyon nila dito. Kaya nga sabi rin ni Senator Tulfo, by next week, by March 11, inaasahan din natin na mas matatalakay pa ito dito sa Senado.
Although mukhang may agreement naman dun sa $80 threshold.
Yeah.
Oo, dun sila pinaka-common na kapag umabot within those areas, parang dapat na raw nga isuspend. If not suspend, i-lessen na raw itong excise tax o kaya naman yung VAT sa mga produktong ito.
Yan din kasi nasa
Mukhang may
train
sense
law.
of urgency naman. Mukhang may sense of urgency naman kasi baka sa puro deliberation dyan tapos na yung gulo dun sa Middle East bago mapasa yan.
Hindi naman, grabe ka naman.
Hindi, several weeks lang daw sabi ni Trump Gaano
4
katagal
to 8
ito
weeks
bago
mo.
mapasa yan?
2 buwan yun.
Hindi, weeks yung original Weeks. Up to 1 month. Baka kaya bang ipasa yan? Oh. Pero kung magiging permanente yan, kung sakasakali, at least meron ng mechanism kung magkakaroon ng ganyang batas. Magkakaroon ng mechanism
Just
na
hit the
nawala
threshold.
under the train law. Oo. Magkakaroon na ng ganong mechanism. Yan lang.
Pero sundutin ko yun, Ami. Kasi, for example, sa train law, $80 nga per barrel yung threshold.
Yeah.
Pero that's $80 per barrel in a 30-day period average. So, ibig sabihin,
Ito wala yata yun.
kailangan nila hintayin yung 30
walang
days,
average.
i-average kung 80. At kung umabris ng 80 yung 30 days na yun, saka pwedeng bigyan saka may otoridad ng Pangulo. Nung panahon na, 2019 to 2020 ata yun saka may kapangyarihan ng Pangulo na isuspend ng excise taxes. So you have to wait for 1 month to do the averaging. I'm wondering lang kung itong mga panukala nila, ganun ding 1 month averaging ng 80 days, ng $80, or instantly pag nag-$80, suspend.
Walang specific na ganyan. Kahit sa Malacanang wala pa
Yeah, wala pang detalye. Okay, si Merrimon, tumutumon lang sa atin. Kaway dyan, Merrimon. Okay.
Thank you.
Maraming
Thank
salamat
you,
sa iyo.
Merrimon.
Merrimon Reyes, reporting live from the Senate. Thank you, Merrimon.
Thanks.
Yun nga yung sa train law, it was an average of 30 days. That's when you look at the numbers, kung pumalo ng $80. And that's when you suspend. Pero nga, nag-expire na yung transitory
Although
provision.
reasonable naman yun, di ba? I-average mo. Kailangan sustained yung conflict
Oo. Yun lang, by the time na nag-30 days,
Tapos na.
gumagapang na tayo sa kalsada.
Oo nga.
Diba? Imagine mo, isang buwan yun, kung mataas ang presyo ng gasolina ng isang buwan, medyo masakit yun.
Siguro kasi iba na tong scenario dyan. Middle East na to Mag-iiba siguro yung dyan.
Okay.
Sa ginagawa nila ngayon.
Okay, let's hope and pray. Anyway, Ami, we just need to take a break. We will be right back.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.
We've got developing news and the stories behind the headlines. Welcome back to Storycon, the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao, and on Zoom, mamaya pa pala. And we have, of course, with us, Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star. Ami, si Regina will be joining us later via Zoom.
Nasaan siya?
Ha?
Abroad ba siya? Abroad?
No. She's taking some courses. So,
Okay.
yeah. But she's just here, bouncing around. But later on, we will have Sergio Ortiz Luis. We plan to talk to him about yung magiging possible impact nitong mga increases that are already being projected. Kasi kahit paano we have numbers na I know they're very tentative numbers, but in broad strokes, you already have the numbers. And we'd like to see what could possibly happen to, for example, prices for commodities that you have to transport. And possibly may epekto rin yan sa power and that will also have an impact on prices as well.
Siyempre may epekto sa power.
Oo.
Pero order ngayon, Department of Energy, nagwa-warning against profiteering and hoarding. Although, ewan ko kung paano i-enforce. Pwede naman enforce yan kung random, di ba?
Kung random.
Kung random, at least, hindi, ibig ko sabihin, kung mananakot ka siyempre, gawin mo, kahit paano.
Yeah, you just have to check heavy monitoring
Pakita
and
mo.
random raids.
Diba? Bato-bato sa langit, but at least, lahat nag-iisip, baka ako tamaan.
So you have to keep people on their toes para walang
Hindi nilang
nandadaya.
gawin yun. But they have to carry it out. Kung magwa-warning ka, you have to carry it out. Hindi pwedeng puro daldal lang.
So yun, ang sabi ni Merrimon, di ba? ang ginamit niyang kataga, yung 80 pesos ang diesel, to play it safe, nasa 80. I don't know how that's playing it safe eh. Parang wrong choice of words yung playing it safe eh. Pero ang tansya ng DOE na mismo yan, that's Rino Abad, siya yung director ng Energy Oil Industry Management Bureau, parang ganon.
Hindi, madadagdagan nga daw kasi ng mga 20.
Yeah.
Almost 60 na ngayon eh.
Yeah.
Now we're talking
diesel
about
daw is
diesel yan.
diesel daw is mga 80 by next week.
Kaya aabot, baka almost, by Monday nga, sabi ko, di ba?
Mhm. According to Rino Abad.
Yan.
And yung gasolina, baka 70. I think at the most. So, I'm not sure how much diesel is right now eh. Pero that's mga 20 plus, no? Ang
Mga 20 nga madadagdag.
gasolina mga nasa 59 eh, if I recall from last night. So, that's mga 11 pesos.
Kaya magkakaroon niya ng baka magkaroon ng provisional fare increase dahil hindi naman kaya ng mga PUV
Oo.
driver yung walang mga
Wala silang
projection
iuwi.
yan. Ang gastos talaga nila. Ang gastos nila, kung ano yung gastos nung araw na yon, yun yung net nila.
Yun ang iuwi nila,
Diba?
yun ang panggagas sila.
Kaya ganon, magpo-provisional increase yan. Tapos, syempre, patong-patong na yan, imposibleng hindi magkaroon ng impact sa commodities eh.
Yeah.
Kahit anong bantay ng DTI, intensify daw ng Department of Trade yung pagmamonitor nila. Kahit yung agricultural, you have to transport it from the provinces eh. Going to Manila, syempre maapektuhan yun.
Ami,
Madadagdagan yun.
Ami, we have on the line already si George Barcelon. Siya po yung Chairman Emeritus ng PCCI, Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Sir, magandang hapon and thank you for joining us.
Ami, magandang hapon po.
Thank you, sir, for
Hi,
joining
good
us. I know
afternoon.
it's a busy day, pero I'm sure you've heard all the numbers that are being played around, are being bandied around. We talked to our Senate reporter, sir, just a few minutes ago. Ang sabi raw ni Rino David ng ng Oil Industry Management Bureau,
Yes.
by next week daw, baka 80 ang diesel. And that's playing it safe, ha? That's playing it safe. And that's
Pump
DOE.
price, pump price.
Pump price. Baka raw 80.
Oo nga.
Yung gasolina raw, baka 70.
Oo nga.
We'd like to ask you, sir, I know it's a bit too early, pero kahit paano baka you can give us an idea what the effect could be on prices of commodities going down. I mean, moving forward.
Well, yeah. Well, definitely, this is a cause for concern because this would directly impact our inflation. The inflation, if it goes up beyond, what is projected by our Bangko Sentral, this is a big concern. Prices will be going up, the cost of living will be impacted, and there might be rounds of petition for wage increase. So double whammy tayo. Medyo mahina itong sitwasyon ngayon. Definitely, the economy is badly affected. Yung mga exporter ng mga crudo, some of them are claiming force majeure that they cannot deliver. So there might be a shortage of fossil fuel, no? And definitely the prices of coal would go up again, which is very similar to the time when the war between Ukraine and Russia started. So all of this is spiraling to the point wherein our government must really be strategic about how to manage the situation of inflation and the energy issue. Of course, ang primary concern ngayon, ang gera na sa Middle East. Ang importante yung kaligtasan ng mga Pilipino.
Yes, sir.
Their safety there in the area. Dati, medyo isolated ang gera. Ngayon, ang Iran, they're bombing all the area, UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, Dubai, wherein there are lots of Filipinos. So that is a concern. their safety must be given priority by the government.
Yes, sir. Sir, let me also bring in Regina Lay, who joins us via Zoom. Hi, Regina, and welcome
Hi,
back.
Reg.
Pero sir, Bok, pasingit
Hello.
lang. Kasi sinabi ni Mr. Barcelon na double whammy. Pero sir, di ba when interest rate, when inflation goes up, interest rates also go up. Ibig sabihin, yung pag-uutang ka sa bangko, tumataas din yung interest dahil nga sa inflation. So, nagiging triple whammy.
Yung interest rate as of now, I think the peso, ang impact dyan is the peso exchange rate, no? There has been projection already na towards 2026, gradually, ang depreciation ng peso natin. That in itself will have to be will have to have what is wait and see attitude. It depends also on the remittances of our OFW. If normally naman kung masyadong yung gera dyan sa Middle East, kung critical, pinapauwi yung
Evacuation.
evacuate the OFW. So automatically, ibig sabihin, they will receive, they will not be remitting as much as before. So that will affect also our foreign exchange reserve, and kaya double whammy, kulang ang remittance, ang gastos namin sa crudo, sa energy, sa pagkain, na tumaas. So that is a double whammy for us, no? Na both sides we suffer. But I think as we move forward, the government must strategically plan on how we can use less energy, no? Lalo na dito sa transportation. Baka we might have to revert back to the some sectors might have to revert back to work from home.
Oh.
Because there's less traveling. There's less traveling.
That's
There's
true.
more expensive. That might be one. I'm not encouraging it, but if it's extreme, if our supply of oil and fuel are depleted because of the force majeure of the supplier, then we have to look at it from the critical point of view, no? Na how can we mitigate itong shortage of fuel para sa atin? And it might our energy mix so far, meron naman tayong renewable energy, no? Pero high percentage din pare.
Yes, sir.
At least half is crudo and coal.
Okay.
Coal base.
Ladies.
Mr. Barcelon, kapag ganitong may malaking surge ng presyo ng langis, typically gaano katagal siya nagre-reflect sa commodities? Kasi karamihan sa member nyo, marami kayong mga retailers, di ba?
Hindi, actually, almost katulad nito, almost immediate. Kasi yung cost ng crude sa transportation, itong dalawang linggo lang, tumaas ang ilang beses na yung crudo natin, yung diesel, gasoline.
Oh, 1.9 per liter.
And this is where the people would pick it. Automatically, yung mga trucking company, ang charge nila, pataas na yan
Kaya na. So magre-reflect agad dyan sa commodities.
Sabi ko, ang usual, to be honest, no, ang businessmen, they are always very, what do you call, hindi naman immediate ang increase. Alam nila kung masyadong biglaan, ang consumer, they will be badly affected. But it will come a time na talagang wala silang magawa, lugi na, what can they do? So they have to pass on the cost to the consumer.
Okay.
I hope ang solution dito sana man President Trump mentioned that was when the start of the war that this issue should be settled in 3 to 4 weeks.
3 to 4
But
weeks.
with the likes of what's going on, it could be prolonged, and this is what is scary for us. No, pag prolong, and then the Strait of Hormuz, yung lugar na yan, dyan nang dumadaan ng malaking
supertankers
sa mga tanker, and if that point is choked, wala tayong magawa. There will be a shortage of energy, and it's a question of supply and demand. Kung kukunti ang supply, tataas yung demand, yung presyo ng mga oil at saka ano. So it's our prayer is that the war, the conflagration would be limited, hopefully in a short period, for the safety of our Filipino workers and also for this uncertainty that prevails right now, no?
So kung 3 to 4 weeks, kayang i-hold naman yung mga pagtaas ng presyo ng mga commodities. At least yung mga major businessmen, mga major business enterprises.
I haven't heard any pronouncement, no, sa mga company, refining company. But there was some. I read some information that was shared to me. I don't want to be the strike fear, no. But it is not too much. Our storage is not too much. Kaya yan ang concern, no. But I don't want to be spreading unverified news. But normal naman, in a normal situation, you normally don't stock up this much. No? Like in my case, my factory, we have tanks that are not always full, no. But because of the situation, automatically yung superintendent namin sa pabrika, he immediately ordered more. Reserve, no more reserve in case na talagang kakumusin yung supply sa mga mga oil companies.
Sir, sir, is it possible to tell us kasi kung tumaas ka ang diesel to 80 pesos at ang gasoline to 70, ano mga produkto ang pinakamalaking tatamaan ng pinaka may immediate impact? Is it possible to divine that by now?
Well, I think anything that's related to the increase in logistic costs, food related would be impacted.
Food related.
Yung mga pamasahe of the will also increase also.
Yeah, of course.
So those are the direct impact to these two sectors. These are very sensitive.
Halos lahat na yan.
Okay.
Red,
the problem with economics is, of course, everything is
that will affect. The other effect is that when cost goes high, the selling price might be prohibitive to the general public. When the selling price is prohibitive, then there's a downturn.
Nobody buys
in business. It's snowballing effect yan. So this is what we're looking at.
Yeah. Kaya lang, sir, of course in economics everything is a trade-off, no? I mean, for example, the work from home idea, the idea that we could push for 4 days a week work from home. The PCCI also has put out a statement saying it needs to be studied carefully. Hindi pwedeng lahat ng industries maging work from home. It will hit production as well, in manufacturing, in agriculture, of course.
Yes.
And then of course yung suspending excise tax also has huge implications on the national budget, right? There's by some measures, we're collecting over 300 billion in excise taxes. So lahat naman talaga, whatever solution you look at, there's going to be a trade-off. But as far as you're concerned, which option is the most will cause the least harm at this point?
As I said, this has beyond our control. No? For us in the business sector, we are always cognizant of the fact that we do not want to burden the consumer unreasonably. But if the cost of production, the cost of delivery, because of the exchange rate, because of the shortage of all of these things, we have to face the fact that the prices have to go up. So this is all we can hope for, that the situation stabilize earlier.
When President Marcos says that, he's appealing to the manufacturers and retailers to not increase prices yet, at least not indiscriminately. Is that something that the industry can absorb for now?
I think yes. I mean, most operations they still have their material in the pipeline. In the that they can maybe stretch it a bit, but how long is hard to say. No, like what you're talking about the diesel. If you're paying diesel now like 50, 60, and then you know the next time you buy, maging 80 na. So, itong malaking increase na sa presyo, you have to be prepared for it. Otherwise, you'll be buying 10 liter now. Next time, the same amount of money, you'll be buying only 8 liters. So you'll be short change. No, pagka short change, how can you continue your business? But definitely, the business sector is very careful, no, monitoring also, and in past events, business sectors has always been considerate not to increase prices unreasonably that would burden the consumer.
Sir, earlier this week nga, di ba, tumaas ng 1 peso and 90 centavos yung gasolina per liter. Yung diesel, not really sure by how much eh.
Around that amount.
Ganun din ba? Same amount more or less?
A little over 1 peso.
Nagka-impact na po yan sa inyo, sa mga negosyo ninyo? And has that already been passed on to consumers o hindi pa rin? Kasi it's too early.
Well, as of now, we hope that the interest, the cost of money can be maintained, no, at this point in time. There's no reason why it should unreasonably go up, no. But again, the financial sector is always looking at the fact that if there's too much of a downturn in business, there might be more demand for loans. And it's a question of supply and demand. If there's a demand for it and there's a supply of money, it's also being curtailed, they might have to look at the interest rate. But normally, yung interest rate natin, we follow the LIBOR rate, also the Federal Reserve, yung rate sa America. I don't think now at this point in time, there will be increase because the government debt of the U.S., especially now with this war going on, I don't think they can afford, no? Pag tumaas mga interest rates nila, lalo malaking yung burden nila. Dito rin sa atin, ang government debt natin, umabot ng 17 trillion. So, kung tumaas na yung interest rate, ang debt servicing natatamaan. Ang bill natin sa interest, mahigit na 1 trillion. So those are numbers that have to be properly and carefully looked at.
Mr. Barcelon, by way of responses from the government, alam niyo naman kung ano yung what the government is doing or trying to do. Ano pa po ang inaasahan, ang gusto sanang makita ng business sector from the government in responding to this crisis?
Well, we hope that the government, in our relationship with the oil-producing country or mga exporter natin, that they can, the supply will not be curtailed. No? As I said earlier, may mga bansa, they are already limiting their exports, or they're claiming force majeure because sila rin naipid na sila Yung mga crude na dadaan sa Strait of Hormuz hindi makalabas yan sa Strait of Hormuz. So you cannot blame them also. It's of course it's not both sides, even US has not declared that this is war. No? But all the impact of what's going on there, from our point of view, I guess from the world's point of view, war ito, gera ito, di ba? So once it's situation, companies can declare force majeure because it's something that's unforeseen for them.
Okay. Okay. Sir, one more question from me. Tapos, but I don't know if I don't know if this is possible to be answered, but I'll try anyway. Sir, sa manufacturing ba, can you give us an estimate, if it's possible, how much of the costs go to power versus transportation versus labor? Siyempre, iba-iba siguro yan.
Sa ngayon, it's too early to say, no? But as you mentioned earlier, there's talk about diesel going to 100 pesos. So how that will factor in is malaking bagay. And you can just use past experience. Natandaan natin during the COVID, when there was a shortage, the business sector was quite restrained in their increasing in prices until na talagang wala na silang magawa, so they had to factor in those additional costs. I would not speculate, but what I'm saying is the business sector is very concerned, but they will not unreasonably increase prices if it's not necessary.
We understand, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Maraming salamat po.
Okay, thank
George
you.
Barcelon, Chairman Emeritus ng Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Thank you, sir, for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Barcelona.
Ami, ito siguro natatandaan mo to. Kasi we were talking about the Ukraine war and how it drove prices up in 2022, yung oil prices. Ukraine war, oil prices went up by 35 to 40% nung first 6 months of 2022. Nung first Gulf War, 1990, 1991 actually, yung talagang gera, because Saddam
50.
invaded Kuwait.
Was it 60%?
Hindi naman, pero I don't know if Ami remembers, nung panahong yun, single digit pa lang yung per liter ng gasolina.
Correct. Yun yung difference.
It was gasoline was selling at 6.50 per liter, 6 pesos 50 centavos. The increases then amounted to mga 25 to 29%. So umabot ng mga mga 9 pesos per liter. Sa amin malaki na 'yun nung panahon 'yun. Although wala pang double digit noon. Pero parang tandaan mo usapan natin, paano 'yan? Maglalakad na lang ba tayo o magbibisikleta papuntang Malacanang?
Sasakay sa camel.
Sakay sa camel, di ba? This was in
at that time, people were complaining na mataas na.
Oo.
Now compared to today's prices.
Single-digit gas prices. Can you imagine that?
Ganun mga peso noon.
And yun na
20-something
ito yung other bad news, which is the peso closed at 59 pesos today.
Oh, no.
Malapit-lapit na sa all-time low of 59.45. Remember that before this Middle East war happened, may expectations na in the economic community na baka tumama na 60 pesos to the dollar. So imagine how much more pressure it is under now that there's a war. And double whammy nga ito when it comes to oil exports because of course oil, Brent crude, and WTI are both priced in dollars. So we pay in dollars when number one, the currency is weaker, and number two, actual oil prices are high. So every percentage drop or weakening of the peso is huge impact on the imports bill ng Pilipinas.
It's the petrodollar in action.
And
Kailangan dumami yung yung hybrid vehicle. Kaya lang kailangan mo naman ng kuryente.
Ayun na nga, mahal din kuryente.
At kailangan mo ng rare earth minerals.
Yes.
Hindi yung hybrid,
At kailangan mo
hindi
ng
naman
processing
sinacharge
para
yung
gawin yung mga
hybrid.
baterya.
Hindi mo naman sinacharge yung hybrid. Yung fully electric lang ang sinacharge.
So, I mean, it's also you also have to feel sorry for the policymakers because this is not. It is a very, very difficult position to be in. Damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Every single decision will have trade-offs. So, yun nga tinatanong ko kay Sir George Barcelona, which is, anong trade-off would be more palatable at this point? Do you lose billions of pesos in taxes by suspending excise taxes and therefore affecting the national budget? Or subsidize, which also has a cost. You subsidize fuel subsidies sa transport sector, malaki-laking gastos din yon, right? If you call for work from home 4 days a week, tatamaan din yung manufacturing, agriculture,
And
retail, all of these big industries, right? Consumption is a big part of our GDP. So if hindi
Yes.
nagko-consume mga tao, ano mangyayari sa GDP natin,
Yeah,
right?
we saw that during
every
COVID.
exactly, everything has a trade-off. And it's a very, very difficult position to be in, I have to say. Kasi nga oil.
Imagine mo kung work from home tayo, no?
Ako, work from home today.
Ako, work from the office ako.
Si Ami walang
So,
choice
work
eh.
from-
Si Ami kailangan gumawa
Work
ng
from the
diary.
office.
Work from the office.
Si Ami nandyan yan everyday.
Oh.
Pero yun
Malapit
nga,
lang
yung
ano ko.
I missed the first part. Ang laki ng projection. I guess that's what you started the show with, no? Ang laki
Yeah.
ng,
Well, si Lino Abad in the Senate, although we've seen other numbers
20.
doon na lumabas, Lino Abad said in the Senate na safest bet niya is 80 abuti ng diesel next week. Yun
Next week na.
Safest bet niya yun. I don't know what he means by safest. Does he mean, when he says safest, does that mean it's the lowest or the highest?
Oo.
Pero yun yung in-expect nila kasi I think they're talking to the dealers. They're expecting about 20 per liter increase.
Oh my goodness.
Yung gasolina
By
daw,
Monday, by Monday.
ano sabi niyo sa gasolina, Ami? 70
By
yata sa
Monday.
gasoline next week.
Oo, mga 60 yata,
Oo.
pump price.
60 plus to 70 eh. Yun nga, yun nga kasi hindi kami clear when, I think the word nga that he used was safest eh. Safest estimate niya. And not sure if
Hindi,
that
staggered
means...
kasi siya.
Yeah, but
Staggered siya.
I'm not sure when he says that it's the safest estimate, if it means that it's the minimum estimate or the maximum estimate.
Average siguro niya yun.
Oh. Or it sounds to me like ito yun yung pinaka-conservative siguro.
If it's the most
na
conservative,
estimate.
then it could go higher.
It could go higher. I mean,
Hindi, talagang
today...
they're expecting it to go higher. Staggered yun.
Exactly. Today, the international news media is already reporting the Strait of Hormuz is nearly 100% closed. Remember that Oman controls a portion of it, pero at this point daw, halos 90%, more than 90% closed na yung Strait of Hormuz again, wherein
Detail.
20% of the world's global oil passes through. But then again,
But Oman
I
only
don't-
controls
I-
the entrance, not the exit.
Oo. It's a widening regional conflict. Oo. Yeah. But then again, iisa lang naman ang nag-import pa ng Brent crude sa Pilipinas. Remember, it's only Petron that has the refining facility in Bataan. So they're the only ones that import raw Brent crude, and then they process it, and then they sell it to the local dealers, right? No one else has that capacity. So everyone else buys their oil from the international market, specifically South Korea, Singapore, China, Malaysia, and so on and so forth.
Meaning
That's
it's
why
the
napaka-
refined when you get it.
Oo, ito na yung refined. Ito na yung processed petroleum products. Gagamitin na lang pagdating dito. You don't need to refine it further.
Kaya lang, the other
and of-
countries are holding on to their refined. also.
Exactly.
Kaya yun ang
So I know we always wonder bakit ang bilis ng pag-react ng oil markets kapag may crisis, and this is the reason why, because we're heavily reliant on international markets to purchase our oil. And if the other countries becomes even slightly more protectionist and they start holding on to those reserves in anticipation of, more conflict, the pricing will definitely go up.
Mag-aaral na ako magbisikleta.
Kasi taga Paranaque ka rin eh.
Malapit lang siya. Hindi ako marunong mag-bike. Mahina na balance.
Pwede naman, Annie.
marunong
It's never too late to learn.
Marunong ako mag-drive ng kotse. Hindi ako marunong mag-bike.
Ay, ladies, we have a second guest coming up. We now have with us the chairman and president of the Transport Group Manibela, si Mar Valbuena Jr. Sir, magandang hapon po and thank you for joining Storycon. Sir, nakamute ata kayo.
Nakamute yata po kayo.
Patry ulit, sir. Nakamute ata kayo.
Mr. Balbuena.
Yan.
Ayan na, okay na.
Ay, nag-choppy siya bigla.
Nawala uli.
Okay.
Nag-freeze siya, nag-freeze.
We will try to get him back. Mar Balbuena, Transport Group leader. Yung nga kasi, ang malaki-laki tataas kung sakali
Diesel.
ng presyo ng diesel.
Mm.
And remember, nung
Diesel yung
nung Ukraine war, ang dami mga transport drivers na hindi na bumiyahe.
Yeah, hindi
Oo.
na nagbiyahe.
Kasi
And,
not worth
Wala
their
na
time.
silang
Break.
kikitain eh.
Oo. And break ko na lang din, no? The DFA said tensions in the Middle East could last between 4 to 8 weeks. That's based on assessments, diba, that the Philippine diplomatic posts in the region have made. So, malayo tayo sa from 3 to 4 weeks. Nasa
Yeah.
8 to 12, 4 to 8 weeks na yung estimate
Yeah.
at this point.
And they're saying it could become an unconventional war, which means it's
Yeah.
going to be longer pa than that kung sakali.
Well, you have to worry if, Iran, there are some, countries that are maybe not countries, but cells that are sympathetic to Iran in the region. And you have to worry, there is a worry in the international community, baka ma-activate din yung terrorist cells, which we hope will not happen, of course. Pero it could be a very unconventional war indeed.
Bok, subukan natin si Mar Balbuena ulit. Mukhang andyan
Yeah.
na. Si Mar Balbuena Jr. ng Manibela. Sir, narinig niyo kami, sir?
Ayan na. Mr. Balbuena.
Good afternoon.
Sir, mukhang nag-face kayo, sir.
Good afternoon po sa inyong lahat.
Magandang
Ayan
hapon
na.
po. Magandang hapon po. Tinitin ko kung nagchachapi tayo eh. Pero malino naman kami, sir. Malino kami sa inyo.
Siya ang nagsachapi.
Choppy si sir.
Medyo
Sir, ano
choppy,
po?
sir.
Favor po. Telepono na lang. Tawagan namin kayo sa telepono. Kasi...
Sir Ed, ito malinaw na po, Sir Ed. Malinaw na.
Sige, subukan
Ayan
natin.
na,
Subukan
okay
natin. Sir, kasi sabi nga ng DOE kanina sa Senado, mukhang papalo ng 80 yung diesel next week. Ay, paano epekto niyo sa inyo?
Sir Ed, malaking dagok ito sa ating sektor, ano? At sana bilis-bilisan ng Department of Energy at ng Congress, ng Senate na isuspend itong excise tax dahil napakabigat na po itong pasanin na ito dito sa ating mga kasamang tsuper dito sa ating sektor.
Pero sir, mukhang hindi ganun kabilis yung pag-uusapan pala nila next week yung excise taxes sa Senado at sa Kongreso. So mukhang mahaba pa yon. Pero at the very, baka mas mapadali pa kung sakali yung paglabas ng mga subsidy.
Mukhang mas po yung paglabas ng subsidy dahil nga po mas maraming proseso pa raw yung gagawin
Sa
at
subsidy.
mukhang matatagalan pa. So yung pag-suspend po sana yun po yung pinakamabilis na pwedeng gawin ng ating gobyerno.
Hmm.
Sir, pag na-suspend ang excise taxes, alam niyo po ba what is the estimate na masasave niyo po?
Umaabot po ito sa 210 pesos kada araw yung masisave po natin dahil 6 pesos po ang maaalis dito sa excise tax kada litro. So doon po sa 30 to 35 liters po na ikinakarga natin dito sa ating krudo sa araw-araw ay malaking bagay po ito. Ito po yung immediate. At kung mapoproseso pa yung fuel subsidy at yung 1 peso provisional per increase, malaking bagay po ito sa atin upang maibsan yung hirap na dinaranas ng ating sektor.
Magkano sa estimate nyo? 200 ano? 200...
210 to 250 sana,
Per day.
Sir Ed, ang estimated natin dito sa 6 pesos kada liters na kinakarga po natin. 6 pesos kada litro ang
diesel.
ipinapataw po sa excise tax times 30 to 35 liters po per day.
Mr. Balbuena, meron na bang mga usap-usapan within your group na kung sakasakali baka hindi na lang lumabas yung ibang driver kasi wala na halos kikitain kapag masyadong mataas yung gasolina?
Tama po kayo, Mamami. Kahapon nga po, dumadaing na yung ating mga kasamang tsuper. Kasi operator din po ako. Ang sabi nila, baka pwede kaming pagbawas din ng boundary. At ang nakikita po natin dito, talagang tutuluyang tumigil muna yung iba nating kasama. Kapag ka po lugi lang yung pamamasada, kesa nga naman po mas mawalan pa sila, eh baka nga po tumigil na lang sa pamamasada.
Mm. So amenable naman kayo, nababaan yung boundary nila. Yung mga operator, okay
Po, tama
naman,
po kayo. Marami na po ang nag-adjust ng boundary kasi nga po kahapon nung Martes 2 piso po ang itinaas, tapos kahapon bigla pong naging 10 piso. Sana ma-monitor ito ng Department of Energy, bakit po ganun na bigla-bigla na lamang na may pagtaas. At gusto natin na makastigo o maimbestigahan itong mga oil companies dahil po wala po ba silang stock araw-araw po ba yung pag-angkat nila dito sa Iran o
Sir,
sa Middle East?
ano po sir, tumaas ng 10 piso?
Ano yung piso yun?
Kung makikita nyo po sa mga posting namin, may mga 90 pesos na po na mga gasolinahan.
90.
Ang crudo, ang presyo ng crudo po nasa 90 pesos na.
90, saan yan?
Babanggitin ko na po kung anong gasolinahan ito. Oilland,
Okay.
yung nakita namin, pare-pareho siya kahit sa ang branch niya, 90 pesos po ang crudo na ang presyo nito sa merkado ngayon.
Ano pong kumpanya yun? Ano po
Oilland,
yun? Ano
Oilland, may mga ano po
Oilland.
kami, may mga
May posting kayo?
May mga may mga pictures, may mga kuha po kami doon sa mga gasolinahan po na ito.
90 pesos.
90 pesos.
Kaya pala may warning yung yung Department of Energy, di ba sinabi ko? Against
Ma'am Ami,
hoarding and profiteering.
masyado pong pananamantala ito sa taong bayan na kung kailan naghihirap ay basta na lamang nagtatas sa ating gobyerno. Sana imbestigahan itong mga nangyayaring pagtaas na ito na hindi po karapat-dapat. Kasi mahal na nga yung crudo, lalo pang dinoble yung presyo nito, kaya po sobrang hirap itong pinapasan natin ngayon.
Siya lang po yung nagtaas ng 90 o may iba pa ho?
Kaya lang po yung nakita namin, hindi lang po iisang branch, kundi po ako nagkakamali, 6 na branch po nila yung nakita namin na talagang nagtaas po ng presyo nila. 90 pesos po, ilalabas po ulit namin mamaya yung mga lahat ng branches nila na 90 pesos na po ang singil. Pero may isa na po kaming ipinost dito po sa Paso de Blas as of March 6, 2026 at 10:17 AM po. Yung nakita po namin.
Saan po namin makikita yung retrato? Kaninong Facebook po? Sa
Para
Facebook niyo?
mailagay dito.
Sa Facebook page po ng Manibela, Sir Ed, nakalagay po ito.
Manibela.
Sa mga comment section po, makikita po natin doon, napakarami na branches nila po na same lang yung presyo. 90 pesos po ang crudo. Dapat po unahin na ng Iran na bagsakan ng bomba itong mga ganitong oil companies na masyado
Uy, grabe naman.
Yung
Mahirap
branches
po.
po nila yung
Okay.
nasa Metro Manila. Yung branches nila, karamihan Metro Manila.
Metro Manila, Bulacan, and Cavite po.
Okay. Oilland.
I see, nakita ko na yung post niyo. Nakita ko na post niyo,
Ayun.
Sir Oiland. 90 pesos yung diesel na naka-advertise. Pero sa malalaking gas station like Sea Oil, Shell, Petron, Caltex, wala naman kayo napapansin na malaki-laking increase other than yung in-announce na nila.
Siguro po ang nakita lang namin. Pero pa rin po yung nakita namin na in-increase nila kasi nung Martes po, ang nakita namin na presyo ay nasa 56 pero po ngayon more than 60 pesos na po yung nakita natin. Hindi lang po sa mga malalaking kumpanya, pati po sa mga small players, ganito din po yung nakikita natin, Ma'am Regina.
Pakita ko lang yung yung pinost ninyong picture doon sa inyong Facebook. Oilland, ang diesel nasa 90, ang ano tong green oil 75, premium is 78. Ito yung nasa Facebook ng Manibela. Kita ba?
Kuha po ng isang presidente namin yan dito sa may Valenzuela, sa may Paso de Blas, as of 10 AM po. At ngayong araw na to.
Sige,
Yun po yung caption.
ipapakonfirma po natin. Ayan, ito yung kanyang karatula.
Oo. Kuha yan ngayong araw,
Marami pa po
Ano
dyan sa
kaya
comment
yan?
section. Sir Ed, Ma'am Ami, Ma'am Regina, dyan sa comment section po makikita nyo yung mga lugar sa Jose del Monte, Marilao, iba-ibang lugar po sa Region 3 ay sa Bulacan at saka po sa Metro Manila. Meron din po sa Cavite.
Kapag
But,
ganyan, pwede ba kayong mag-file ng reklamo sa Department of Energy o nagbabalak na kayong mag-file ng reklamo?
Opo, kasi po deregulated tayo ngayon. So I don't know anong patakaran diyan.
Can you file a complaint?
Next week po, nasa biyahe lang po kami ngayon at kinonsulta na po namin ito sa legal counsel namin kanina at iniipon po lahat ng ebidensya para po isubmit natin din ito sa Department of Energy. At saka sa ERC.
Reklamo kayo for profiteering? Pwede.
Opo, siguro mga next week po may reklamo na siguro tayong ihahain po sa mga ganitong klaseng oil companies na mapagsamantala.
Kapag ganun po, anong penalty kapag ganun sa profiteering? Sinasara yung kumpanya?
Sa ngayon po, hindi ko na matandaan kung ano po yung penalty. Siguro closure po nito o suspension ng kanilang lisensya na makapagpatakbo ng mga oil companies. Opo.
Okay.
Okay, may isa pang litrato dito. Nasa kamarin naman to. Doon sa comment section na sinasabi ni Sir. Eh, Sir, papaverify po namin kung kung
We'll bring in the
Siguro mahirap naman pong
company.
i-edit 'yan at bukod tanging yung oil company na lang po na yan ang nagtaas ng ganyan. Napakataas po. Ibig sabihin, next week kapag nagtaas ng 15 pesos, edi mahigit 100 piso na po ang presyo nitong oil company na to. Dapat po magmulta itong oil company na to, hindi lang po suspindihin. At
Yung
i-revoke na
location niya, ano ba siya? May parang monopoly ba siya doon sa lugar na talagang kailangan siyang puntahan ng mga jeepneys, siya lang ang pwede bilihan. Baka maganda kasi yung location niya, kaya ganyan, nagsasamantala, sabi niyo.
Opo, hindi ko pa po ma-verify ngayon kung marami po siyang katabi doon na mga oil companies. Maaari po na meron din, baka mas mababa, hindi po natin alam. Siguro po yan ang papaimbestigahan natin bago matapos itong araw.
Ito pa, may isa pang post dun sa sa Manibela. Tipid tips daw, tulak na lang ninyo yung bus.
But to answer your question, Ami, alam ko hindi ganun ka-harsh yung profiteering unless you're in agriculture.
Monopoly, no?
Unless because yung Anti-Agricultural Economic Sabotage Act is very specific on profiteering, pero other than that, I don't think ang penalty ay suspendihin ka agad. I think there is a fine, but we have to ask DTI that. Kasi alam ko, it's very harsh when it comes to agricultural profiteering and hoarding. Pero hindi ko alam if sa mga cases na ganito, that applies. But anyways, Sir Mar, in case hindi masuspend ang excise taxes, what else do you guys want to ask for? Ano pa yung ibang solution na pwede para ma-mitigate itong price increases?
Malinaw po doon sa batas, sa train law, na kapag umabot po yan sa $80 per barrel, kailangan po automatic ng suspension nga po nitong excise tax. At doon sa tanong po ninyo na kung meron pa kaming ibang remedy, siguro itong fuel subsidy and 1 peso provisional per increase. Ito na lamang po yung ibang inaasahan po natin. Masakit man po sa ating mga kababayang mananakay, siguro po sana maintindihan ninyo, hindi naman po kami makakapagserbisyo sa taong bayan kung wala pong bibiyahe, kung lugi pa sa gasolina o diesel itong ating mahan.
Sir, correct ko lang yan. Let me just clarify something. Yung provision na yon sa train law, nag-expire na po. Yung provision that says automatic suspension of excise taxes kapag tumama na $80 a barrel ang crude ay nag-lapse na po, hindi na po siya in effect. So that's why President Marcos has to go to Congress to ask for emergency powers to suspend excise taxes. So kasi wala na po legal provision.
Oo nga po pala, naalala ko po, kaya po yung sinabi namin kanina, nilabas namin na press statement na sana ang Congress at ang Senate ay bigyan ng power itong ating Pangulo, emergency power na isuspend itong excise tax.
Kailangan bilisan ng Congress po.
Yun nga po yung sinasabi din natin kanina, Ma'am Ami. Kapag mongolekta ng buwis, napakabilis ng implementation, pero yung pag-suspend, napakabagal, usad pagong, aanhin mo pa ang damo kung patay na ang kabayo.
Patay na yung kabayo.
Ano mo pa yung jeep kung wala ka nang pambili ng ng crudo?
Kung hindi ka
Ano mo pa ang
makalabas,
jeep?
kung hindi ka makalabas,
Kung wala na
hindi ka
pong
makabiyahe.
pang-crudo.
May bago kang ano. Okay. Okay.
Anin pang jeep kung wala nang pang-crudo.
Oo. Maraming salamat po. Manibela Chairman at Presidente si Mar Balbuena Jr. Thank you, sir, for joining us this afternoon.
Thank
Maraming
you,
salamat po at
Mr.
mabuhay po
Balbuena.
kayo.
Reg, paano nga ba yun? Kasi the oil industry is deregulated na since the 1990s. So are oil companies allowed to just increase at will?
Hindi ko nga alam eh.
Yes,
Kasi
that's how
normally-
free market works.
Yeah, but
Yeah, oh.
kasi
Kaya
di ba,
tinatanong ko kung nasan location nun. Kasi kung dikit-dikit yan, walang bibili sa'yo kung sobrang mahal ka eh.
Ito yung
Kasi
ito
lang
yung ano,
pwedeng bilihan doon.
just to give them the benefit of the doubt. Ito yung masasabi ko lang, which is that potentially as well their costs increase in the transportation.
Oo.
Kasi it sounds like maliit lang to na oil company,
Maliit na kumpanya.
and yung
Yeah.
locations niya tiningnan ko are not in the usual commercial districts. So mukhang in the outskirts of mga probinsya, ganun siya, like Bulacan, sabi nga niya. So potentially as well, baka kasi tumaas bigla yung transportation, yung distribution costs nila, which is why umabot ng ganon. But having said that, the law does not put a cap on the increases,
Yeah.
right? There's no such thing kasi we are a free market, and so the market decides what the prices should be. Kaya lang, there is also a way for the government to, let's say, to prosecute and to prove profiteering pag excessive na yung increase. But the short answer is no, because this is a liberal democracy. So when it comes to market prices, talagang the market dictates, right? So unless the government wants to put in its own price controls, they could declare an emergency. They can declare this is a national emergency and put in price controls. But that also brings its own,
Set of problems.
downsides. Also brings its own problems.
Actually, I meant to ask about that nga kasi nga, yung oil regulation law I know it's deregulated nga as an industry, pero at least until this time, meron pa rin silang hawak doon sa oil companies. Kasi, for example, every Tuesdays lang yung increases, and ina-announce ng DOE yung at least yung range. So kahit paano, even though it's deregulated, meron pa ring hawak o pinanghahawakan, I suppose, yung gobyerno.
Based
Oh,
on
of
prices
course.
overseas.
Yeah.
But
Ah.
to what limit?
And the based on the international markets, based on the mean of Platts, may kita mo yan eh. It's called MOPS, MOPS, mean of Platts, Singapore. That's where you can track the market rates at any given week, and then you base the increases or decreases on that, right? I forgot what the other thing I was gonna say was. Pero of course, any industry naman here, kahit na deregulated, of course the agencies regulating them have some sort of moral suasion, have some sort of influence over them as well. You can't force them. There's no legal provision that says, okay, DOE, you can force them to not increase prices, but of course they can gently persuade the oil companies. Parang BSP rin. The BSP does not necessarily, tell the banks what rates to set or tell them, okay, you can only give out this many loans, but they can convince. They can persuade, right? So hanggang doon, of course, may influence pa rin kahit paano.
Yun ang sinabi ng DOE, di ba? They've talked to I guess hindi kasama si Oilland, They've talked to the fuel, yung mga may-ari ng gas stations, na ganun nga, na staggered man lang yung increase at reasonable naman yung mga increase. Yan ang sabi ng DOE. So, baka hindi na isama si Oilland. Ang takbo naman yung mga yan sabihin ng Oilland, di wag kayong bumili sa amin.
Yeah. Yun nga.
Yeah.
Di ba? Ganyan yan Kaya nga tinatanong ko, may katabi ba yan? Kasi kung may mas mura, hindi pupunta sa kanila
Yes, exactly.
Oh.
Okay.
Or per liter ba yung nakasulat doon, Ed?
Per
When
liter.
you saw it?
Per
Baka
liter.
naman 90 is a liter and a half or something. Per liter. Okay.
Nagbibenta ng liter and a half.
Baka lang, I'm just trying to give the benefit of the doubt.
Or baka parang US style, per gallon.
Per gallon.
Per gallon, di ba? Parang US,
Adi ang mura nun per
Oo
gallon.
nga, mura nun.
Okay, sige, goodbye na tayo. At sa weekend already, and we're all excited for Monday. Okay. Thank you very much,
Well,
Storicon.
Dread Monday.
Thank you very much for being with us today. Of course, our co-hosts, Regina Lay via Zoom, and Philippine Star Editor-in-Chief, Ami Pamintuan. In advance, happy International Women's Day to you.
Wow, thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
Oo nga, I forgot about it.
Join us again on Monday, 4 p.m. for Storicon. I'm Ed Ligao, kapatid. We are one news, all sides, all the time.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.